Today I'm going to be talking about effectively the simplicity of the 16-8 method of intermittent fasting and what it actually means in reality. So essentially the 16-8 method of intermittent fasting means that you are fasting for 16 hours followed by an 8-hour eating window. That's essentially it. But what it means in reality is that you are skipping a meal. You're effectively skipping breakfast. But actually you're not really skipping breakfast, because the true meaning of breakfast is when you're breaking your fast. So you are having breakfast essentially when you break your fast, but that's generally later in the day, depending on what time you finished eating the night before. And if you're not sure about that and when a fast begins and ends, I did a video and that should sort of pop up here just to explain that. So although I said you're missing a meal, effectively missing breakfast, if we look at it in the normal context of eating, where you have breakfast, lunch and an evening meal, forgetting any snacks in between, one of those meals is dropped during intermittent fasting. And let's just assume it's breakfast, because most people associate breakfast with morning and it's the first meal of the day. So you're then eating lunch, because I tend to break my fast and have my first meal of the day somewhere between midday and 1 o'clock. Sometimes a little bit later, sometimes a little bit earlier, depending on what time I finished eating the night before. So you're only really eating 2 meals a day. Now, when I first started intermittent fasting, I hadn't appreciated that concept, because what I was thinking, well, okay, yes, I'm extending the period of not eating, i.e. fasting, so to 16 hours, and I'm eating in an 8-hour window. So I was thinking, well, I'm going to have to cram my 3 meals into 8 hours, and that's what I started doing. So I'd break my fast with a meal, and even that, when I started off, was pretty awful, because I was stuffing myself full of lots of good protein, because that's what I thought I was supposed to do, until I realised a better way of doing that, to remove all the bloating and the pain and all the rest of it that I first started out. And again, actually I'll pop a video up here to explain what I do, and it really, really works. No bloating, and it works just a treat, and it's a very healthy way to break your fast. So what I was doing, I was having that meal. Then I was thinking, well, okay, I've got a time when I have my new lunch, because I didn't want to eat it too early, because I was still hungry from my first meal. I didn't want to eat it too late, because then I would feel full for my dinner. And I was finding that I was just getting so full up. I wasn't hungry for my dinner, and I tried to adjust my lunch effectively to sort of between 3 and maybe 4 o'clock, so that by the time I was eating my dinner by 7 or 8 o'clock, I was trying to still be hungry, but I wasn't. And it dawned on me essentially that I could cut out a meal. Now that may seem silly, but that's how, when I first went into intermittent fasting, that's how I thought about it. And it may be the same with you. So, and that's one of the reasons I'm doing this video channel about intermittent fasting and health jump, meaning to jump your health and do good things. It's not going to be just about intermittent fasting. I want to be healthy, and you may have the same thinking as myself and not quite sure. So you are going to be missing a meal a day, because you are eating within an 8-hour window and essentially have 2 main meals. Your what I call now my breakfast, albeit later in the day, because I'm breaking my fast, and I have an evening meal, a dinner. I do have the odd bits in between if I'm feeling a bit more hungry. Now, the important thing to understand is that as a result of effectively reducing your calorie intake, but it's not just because of that with intermittent fasting, you are going to be losing weight. Now, I have lost weight in the period of time that I've been doing intermittent fasting. I started somewhere between, I used to fluctuate between a kind of 16 9, 10 to 17 stone when I first started intermittent fasting. And I'm down to around about 16 to 16.3 now. It seems to have stabilized around about that sort of weight. So yes, intermittent fasting will affect your weight, it'll reduce weight, and if that's one of the reasons why you want to do intermittent fasting, then yes, it will do that. However, having said that, if you continue to eat a huge amount during your eating window and you're stuffing yourself because you feel you should, because you're so hungry, or you're eating the wrong things, like you're eating lots of donuts, for example, high sugar content, you may find that because you are stuffing yourself with calories during your eating window, you may not lose weight. So it's a balance, really. So eat sensibly and healthily during your eating window, and you will lose weight if that's one of the reasons why you're doing intermittent fasting. But I think you shouldn't go into intermittent fasting purely for the weight loss, because there are so many other benefits as a result of the intermittent fast, or during the fasting period, to your body. For example, reducing insulin resistance and oxidative stress on your body, which are linked to so many different diseases. Think about those benefits on top of the weight loss. Don't get away from the fact that weight loss is a very good thing, and I have lost weight and it's great. I've got a different shape to my body, and part of my health jump is that I exercise. I weight train 3 times a week. So my body feels a lot stronger, healthier, fitter. And I'm approaching that big 6-0, and I really, really want to have a six-pack at 60. I'm working on it, and I will report back later on as and when I get that six-pack. And actually there are 2 important elements to a six-pack, and that can be found out in the video that will just come up here, which I will go on to and do that next. Thank you for listening. Have a great day, and enjoy intermittent fasting. See you on the next video. Take care. Bye.